Abusianfo me mamu nyina akwa abasonko de ba RAZ Media Kennedy a Japan Junior the page so RAZ Media YouTube Kennedy Japan Junior on Facebook. Abusia de wo mu nyina ne ene semdinum e so ewo court, high court, the Supreme Court. Now in your dika say SAMMY GYAFI any NDC for no. I don't know say they want to create chaos in the country. Now, and I'm so more dotted tape to be said. The Attorney General is trying to skew Japa, the accused, the third accused person, to witness against Atos forcing to be jailed. And you know, Korean sa ena sabio judge, High Court judge, na ewemuna Paul Adom a prepare documentary be a showcase how the Supreme Court judges lashes Japa Atos forcing SAMMY GYAFI and all the propaganda machinery in the NDC. Have you seen a video no wa? It message say yanko tie video no. Na nyanto base na tie na hwe. Kwanya SAMMY GYAFI free court na nanim se na asia we are na yato aso e de amo. E be so ba na wa share video no na wa comment na wa ma like na ye hu achiaw. Ye koroko tie video no ye ba ye be san ato aso se de bia ye no. RAZ Media GH on YouTube, Kennedy Japan Junior on Facebook. Yanko, yaba to aso.
I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Unique what Unique in this place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of the show. It's always a pleasure to come to you on Tuesday evenings and especially tonight when it's raining, isn't it? Has the rain subsided? I hope it has, and I hope that it doesn't cause any confusion. So, well, what do we have today? Those of you who are a bit older, you see how life is. You see when you do things in life and it's not grounded in law, they say you cannot put nothing on something and expect it to stand. When you try to put nothing on something, it cannot stand. Don't get June 4th, and we'll be showing you our June 4th documentary. Now, though, let's get to the touch screen. Hey, who are these? So Shakespeare said something, Shakespeare said, there's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. We all know who Shakespeare is, isn't he? He said there's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. Now, the essence of Shakespeare's statement is debated among many people. Many scholars debated. The debate about Shakespeare's statement is whether or not Shakespeare meant that there's no way in which you can tell from a person's face what he's thinking, or that he meant that you can't look at the person's face and imagine the quality of their brain. We don't know which one he meant. You can take a position. He said there's no art to find the mind's construction of the face. When he said the mind's construction, did he mean what you are currently thinking about, or did he mean the quality of your brain? Either of them, you can't find it on the face, can you? Okay, I suppose that what you are currently thinking, you can find it on the face. Here is Lieutenant or Captain Jakpa, the famous or rather infamous recorder of phone calls. Jakpa, that is him. This is how he appeared in court today. And he says with newfound friend, Samuel GYAFI, formerly of KNUST, but now the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Samuel GYAFI is here, and this is Jakpa. This is how the two of them appeared in court today. Look at his face. See, this is, can you put the photograph here? Viewers, he's the guy on the left. Look at, take a close look at him. This is the man who was released from the Ghana Armed Forces for some reasons that we can talk about later on. But he was asked by the Ghana Armed Forces to leave. And there he is, and he was the businessman who was to import ambulances for Ghana. That's him. That's the one on the left. You heard about him. That's him. Jakpa. This is how he appeared in court today. His younger friend, SAMMY GYAFI, is looking for material to run a campaign. And so Jakpa becomes one of the materials that SAMMY GYAFI picks up to run a campaign. That's what he's doing. He's running a campaign. He's prosecuting a campaign, fair to say. And so he appears to be looking for material. So if you have material to give to SAMMY GYAFI to prosecute the campaign, and you like NDC, please give to him, because some of these materials that he's found, they may not even lead him to a successful campaign. These materials that he's found Jakpa. Will Jakpa lead SAMMY GYAFI to a successful campaign? Okay. Anyway, let's get onto the facts and share with you what we know. We know that it appeared that the Chief Justice may have declined the offer for a live coverage of the case. We're not really sure what has happened, but today there was no live coverage, so we assume that there's either a delay or that she may have declined the request. But let's go to what happened in court today from our lenses that were there throughout the case. Now, why was there court today? There was going to be court today anyway, because last Thursday, following the cross-examination of Francis Jakpa by one of the lawyers on his side anyway, even though it's called cross-examination, it emerged that he said to the court that he had been, as it were, harassed by the Attorney General at odd hours, and the Attorney General was looking to get Francis Jakpa to help him to prosecute his case. This is the case that he made in court. Now, by the time Francis Jakpa was making this allegation, the submission of no case that had been filed by him had actually failed in the court, and then he was asked to open his defense. So his submission of no case had failed. That is one. He had also actually entered into a plea bargaining relationship or a plea bargaining negotiations with the Attorney General, which is essentially to say, I know that I've committed the offense, but I can pay for it. Let me pay for it and go away. It is in Section 35 of the Criminal Offences Act. You can always look at it and see. This is what, so Francis Jakpa, who says that he was being harassed by the Attorney General, at the time he made that statement in court, two important things had happened. First of all, that his submission of no case, indicating that after the Attorney General had made the case or told the court the case against him, he had told the court that the Attorney General has not made any case at all in law, and therefore the case should be dismissed. The court disagreed with him and told him that the Attorney General has actually made a case against you, and that you need to answer. If you don't answer, you will suffer the punishment of the trial. So he had to open his defense, and that's what he was doing. He's at the tail end of the opening of the defense, and then he says that the Attorney General has been harassing me. So that's one significant thing that happened. His submission of no case had failed. Two, he voluntarily had entered into a plea bargaining option, which is one of the options open to people who are told by the court that you have a case to answer. Once the court tells you they have a case to answer, you also have the option to say, okay, whilst I have a case to answer, I don't even want to answer it. I consider myself guilty. What is the punishment? I will pay so that I don't go to jail. Jakpa had begun this conversation with the Attorney General. It is after these two things had happened that he now says that after these two things have happened, he says that Attorney General was still harassing him. So they then filed an application in court today. So instead of the regular case continuing today, something else happened. The court took time to hear their matter. And what is their matter? They are filing a matter that they shouldn't be prosecuted. Both he and Case Lato Forsen, the first accused here, that they shouldn't be prosecuted, and that they are invoking something called mistrial. So what happened in court today? Let's get to the facts. Okay, so these are the key protagonists. So let's read. It says, after the allegation by Richard Jakpa, the third accused, that the Attorney General had attempted to coerce him to bear false witness against Ato Forsen in the ongoing ambulance trial, lawyers for both Ato Forsen and Richard Jakpa have brought an application before the court, Justice Efia Sewa Bochi, to strike out the case on grounds of misconduct by the Attorney General. They come under the inherent jurisdiction of the court. Okay. These are the lawyers who have brought the case. Abdul Basit and Tadiosori and another lawyer. So Tadiosori leads, Abdul Basit, whom I knew from the University of Ghana. I think it was a T or something like that when I was there. Nice guy. And then and Tadiosori is seasoned, and then another lawyer. Okay. What do they want? That's a question we ask. That a mistrial be ordered. They are asking the court that the court should say that this was a mistrial, that the case be dismissed. These are the two things that they want. Now, what is their basis for making the argument? Their basis are as follows. One, they argue that public confidence in the judiciary will be eroded if the judge doesn't rule in their favor. They argue also that the Attorney General violated his discretionary powers in violation of Article 23 and 295 of the Constitution. The matter has been adjourned to 6th June for ruling. So these are the main points they make. They say that because of some conversation that occurred between the Attorney General and Richard Jakpa, which Richard Jakpa recorded or has now admitted that he recorded, which he handed over to a political party, National Democratic Congress, to be applied in a press conference and to ask for the resignation of the Attorney General. That tape contains information which will suggest that if the judiciary don't check something, public confidence will be eroded. That's what they say. And then they argue also that Attorney General has failed in living up to the standards of Article 295 of the Constitution. What is in 295 of the Constitution? 295 is regulating the application and the use of discretionary authority granted under the 1992 Constitution. So Article 295 says that if you have a discretionary authority to render under the Constitution, you have to render it fairly and etc., and you don't have to be capricious about it. So they're arguing that in the Attorney General exercising his discretion under the powers granted him in Article 88, he has violated the provisions of 295. I'm not so sure if when people violate the provisions of 295 or there's an allegation about the violation of 295 that people go to a high court and say, therefore, I shouldn't be prosecuted. I'm not so sure about that, but the judge says he'll give a ruling on 6th of June. So this is the main matter. If you have any questions, you can send it to your our Facebook page, Good Evening Ghana Official, and we can deal with it right now. Because I don't want to say too much, so I just keep it to the main points. And then if you have questions, we can express ourselves on it. What's the Attorney General's response, by the way? So the Attorney General quickly and promptly responded, and then we'll come to some of the arguments that occurred in courts today. So hear me out. One, the Attorney General said that as follows. The AG argues that the application is a ruse and a desperate smokescreen set by the applicant to abort his legitimate prosecution for the role he played in causing colossal financial loss to the state in the purchase of ordinary vans purporting to be ambulances. Two, the application hinges on lies and a manipulation of facts that seeks to clothe the applicant with immunity from prosecution and therefore is incompetent and offensive to Ghanaian law. Three, the Attorney General says that there is no evidence of the allegations by Richard Jakpa. Okay, Richard Jakpa makes allegations that Attorney General has been coming to him at dawn and odd hours to say something. The Attorney General says he provides no evidence of that as far as he's concerned. Now, he also says that the application is based on lies, a manipulation of facts, and these things seek to clothe the applicant with a certain kind of immunity. The Attorney General is arguing that you are being prosecuted for a matter, and then you say that because of a conversation that occurred between two people, both of whom are principal actors in the matter, I shouldn't be prosecuted anymore. That's not how it works. If you are being prosecuted for A, they will prosecute you for A, and then they can deal with what has happened in another manner. So, for instance, if they say that the Attorney General has violated their discretion, they can deal with that. They can look at that and say, yes, the Attorney General has violated their discretion. He shouldn't have done so and so. Is that the reason why the question about how much loss has been occasioned to the state should not be answered? That's the point the Attorney General is raising. That they are saying that you have occasioned loss to the state. You have to answer that question and face it fully and squarely, and either have an acquittal or whatever happens. But you don't say that because the Attorney General spoke to Richard Jakpa about this, I shouldn't be prosecuted anymore. It's a mistrial. We should stop. No, because Article 88, and I should have asked for it. If you can quickly get me Article 88. Article 88 is a constitutional provision which is entrenched, and it gives the Attorney General the authority to prosecute. Can a court legislate or pass a ruling to say that Whilst the Attorney General has power to prosecute, we, the court, are telling him that he cannot prosecute. Really? I'm not so sure about that. Maybe they can say this person or that person, but the Attorney General's office will continue to prosecute a matter that they have started to prosecute. The only end to the prosecution or the remedy for the accused person is that the court will pass a verdict of accused charge. That's the remedy for the accused person. There will be no other remedy except that which is provided in the procedural law. One of it being a submission of no case. So the accused person has remedies. One of them is that he can file for a submission of no case at the end of the prosecution's case, and then he can go off if the court agrees with him. The other remedy is that at the end of the trial, he will defend himself so well that the court will pronounce him acquitted and discharged. But no, that's not what Case Latufosin and Richard Jakpa wants. That's not what they want. They want the court to say that because the Attorney General has had a conversation or some matter in the Supreme Court judge's house and etc., that they should be prosecuted no further. How does the conversation in the Supreme Court judge's house affect the matters in court for which the court has made a determination that Case Latufosin, a minority leader, and Richard Jakpa both have a case to answer? How does that affect it? How does the conversation on Sunday or Saturday or Monday or Tuesday in the Supreme Court judge's house affect the fact that the court has made a determination that Case Latufosin and Richard Jakpa have a case to answer? I'm not sure how that. I don't know. I don't know how that. But anyway, on Thursday we're going to hear the ruling of the judge because we are not the judges. She will make a determination. But something interesting happened in court today. Before I go to the photographs, and please get the photographs ready for me. Before I go to the photographs, something interesting happened in court. Let me go back to the original photographs. Maybe should I use this one or should I use the other one? Maybe this is better. So lawyers for Richard Jakpa today, the only argument that was permitted. Okay, so I didn't quite finish the story. So when everybody went to court today, they had also the lawyers for Jakpa also, I think it was lawyers for Latufosin rather. They had a tape, some tape that they brought to court, and they were hoping that in making their oral arguments, they will be allowed to play the tape so that the court may hear it. The tape then will evidence the points that Jakpa made. We suspect that is the same tape that Asedun Katia played. That is the same tape that they had. However, her lordship burst all of us our bubble when she said that, anyway, I'm not going to hear arguments over this matter. And that's clearly part of the procedure. Any judge can do that. It's part of the procedure. There's no problem with it. And lawyers are very familiar with that. With the judge saying that I'm not going to hear arguments. I have your affidavit in front of me. I'll read it and I'll make my ruling. That's what she said. She opted for that angle. We don't know why, but she's entitled to do so. So that's what happened. So, well, I mean, those of us who went to the court, we are journalists. We are looking for a story. We really didn't get the story we were looking for. We all went out and were doing, this madam to Abba, etc. Anyway, so she didn't hear arguments. However, she had one line of arguments because Tadiosori here had raised issues against the deposition of the Attorney General. The deposition is the document that Attorney General wrote in response to it that the Attorney General, I'm so and so and so and so. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. So somebody has told me something I verily believe him to be true, etc., etc. Tadiosori said that there are paragraphs of the deposition in there that the person who deposed to these facts should not be allowed to depose to the facts. Now, he sounded quite intelligent when he was speaking, isn't it? So he said that the chief state attorney should not be the one to depose the facts for the Attorney General. He should not be the one to. Attorney General should write it himself. And this evening on radio, they had been saying that the Attorney General was running away, and that is why he got somebody else to do it. Was he running away? He was in court himself. He stood there. He granted interviews that we'll show to you. He was there. He was right there in court. How was he running away? Anyway, the reason why, and some lawyers know this because it's part of the procedure, the reason why the Attorney General got somebody to depose to it, we have found out from his people, is very simple apparently. It's because he was unaware that the judge will say, I don't want oral arguments. So he was prepared to make the oral arguments himself. In that circumstance, he didn't want to be the same person deposing to the affidavit. Because if he did, perhaps he may not be able to make the argument. So he wanted somebody else to do it so that he will stand on his feet and deliver the arguments himself. This is the simple reason. And I don't know whether they don't know that this is part of the procedure, that the deposition has to be done in a certain way that allows you to speak. And the way to do the deposition that allows you to speak is that you ought not to depose to it yourself. I don't know whether they don't know this. Everybody knows it. Everybody should know it. So this is the reason, viewers, forget about everything you heard, and they are on Facebook and they do. Attorney General is running away. He's running away from what? The guy was in court. He was standing there. He was prepared to deliver the argument. And the leadership said that I don't want arguments today. I will look at it and I'll rule on Thursday. So what is running away? So please tell them that the reason why the Attorney General did that was because he wanted to speak himself. He didn't want somebody to speak for him. He wanted to speak himself. And that's why he did that. Anyway, during the argument, Tade Osori here raised that point that the person who deposited to the thing is not the same person. He doesn't have the information within the person doesn't have the information. However, if you look at the deposition, and we can show it, in paragraph 1, the person says that all the things that he's deposing to have come to his knowledge by reason of the job that he does as a state attorney. The matters have come to his knowledge. So the matters are within his knowledge. But well, Tade Osori said, and the Attorney General was able to argue and oppose that. No, the guy says the things are within his knowledge. Then the Attorney General says something else. In bringing up this objection, Tade Osori, his lordship, relied on CI 47. Is a law called CI 47. It encapsulates the civil procedure rules. So quickly, an objection was raised in court again by the Attorney General. What is he talking about? This is a criminal trial, which has its own rules. The Criminal Offences Act in 29 and the Criminal Procedure Act in 30 are there to govern the criminal law and the criminal procedure. Fundamentally that. There is something else that governs civil law. So what is criminal? Criminal is a police matter, a prosecution. That's criminal. Civil is me and you, we are fighting over land. Me and you, we are fighting over property. Me and you, we are fighting over car. Me and you, we are fighting over inheritance. Me and you, we are fighting over Metro TV. Somebody and somebody fighting over GTV, etc., etc. That's civil. It doesn't involve prosecution, okay? Even though we can use the English word prosecution loosely to say that a matter is being prosecuted. But when we use a technical expression prosecution, that means that somebody has offended the Criminal Offences Act and the state is prosecuting. That's what it means. So the rules that govern that are outlined in the Acts 30 and Acts 29. Of course, right now we say as amended because since 1960 both have been heavily amended. Act 29 and Act 30. Act 29 is the Criminal Offences Act. Act 30 is the Criminal Procedure. And so now we have Act 29 as amended. And then there's the Criminal Procedure. So the Criminal Procedure governs criminal procedure. The Attorney General was at a loss why his lordship Tade Osori was citing the civil procedure rules to govern criminal. So there was a bit of jostling in the court. It was a very beautiful scene, and you would have to applaud the Attorney General. I mean, his sense of sharpness, standing on his feet to raise these objections against Tade Osori, it was admirable. But anyway, it's admirable for everyone because if you have an Attorney General like that who is the Minister for Justice, it works, doesn't it? It works. Okay, so the judge listened to both of them and said that will also form part of her ruling on Thursday. So Thursday is D-Day, viewers, and we will be there. We'll be there plenty. We'll be there all over the place, and then we'll bring you what happens. If the D-Day comes, then what could the judge do? What could the judge do on D-Day? Okay, so on D-Day, these are the options that we think are open to the judge. There could be more, but we try to get some options just to put our viewers in a certain mind on the straight and narrow as we approach a D-Day. One, the judge could agree with Richard Jakpa and accept to dismiss the suit because of the purported misconduct of the AG. Number two, the judge could dismiss the application so that the suit takes its normal course. And number three, despite all this, the letter trial judge has the ability and chance to set precedent. Okay. So, 3 is different from 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 are the options. He either agrees with Jakpa or he dismisses Jakpa's application. But what is essential is that this is very novel. This application is novel. Application that says that because of the Attorney General's supposed something and phone call, stop the trial. It's never happened since 1960 when the Criminal Offences Act was written and when the British finally left and they gave us our own law and we had our own laws. No individual under prosecution has brought an application to the court suggesting that the Attorney General has done something outside the court, outside the normal matter, outside the court situation, and has had a conversation with somebody, and as a result of that, please stop the prosecution so that we are not prosecuted any further. give us an immunity, clothe us with immunity from prosecution, because the Attorney General, the lead prosecutor, has gone to a Supreme Court judge's house and had a conversation. The judge is looking at a novel matter. There's no precedent to guide her. You know that for us, our Anglo-Saxon common law, stare decisis, which means that you have to follow the rulings of other courts historically when the matter is similar. That's the judges in the Anglo-Saxon, that is British American law. That's how they call it, the Anglo-Saxon common law. Those countries that subscribe to that common law also subscribe to the principle of following after the rulings that have happened in a similar matter. So if in matter X in 1938, this and this happened, and the same situation is occurring again in 2024, the lawyers will draw the judge's attention to what they call legal authorities. And the legal authorities, therefore, or thereby, will be compelling on the judge, except if another lawyer or the judge himself or herself is able to distinguish the circumstances. Distinguish the circumstances, it means you want to show that there's some part of the current case that does not look like the old case, and therefore we are not bound by that precedent. It's called stare decisis. That's a principle in Latin. Okay, so her ladyship has a big opportunity on Thursday to set a precedent on the way in which these applications are handled, because it's the first time an application is ever coming. Her ladyship, remember, is a justice of the Court of Appeal, and she's sitting as an additional High Court judge. So a lot is expected from her in terms of the legal theory and the legal philosophy, and she's going to deliver that on Thursday. We wish her the best. But this is the story right now. Let's now go to the media story. I've finished with the legal story. Let's go to the media story. And by the media story, I mean the photographs. Let me go to the photographs. There's a lot of concern there. Let's get it. So this is where the photograph starts. Okay. So who do we see in this photograph? So can you just, they don't see it well this way, so just put it straight. I'll come in front of the TV here and then deal with it. Yeah. Oh, can I make it bigger? Oh, I can. Okay. So come back to me. Oh, but you should have told me I can make it bigger. Yes. So it was beautiful in court this morning, viewers. It was just beautiful. So parliamentary candidate for Wenchi, that is Godfrey Dami's hometown potential MP Kojo Frimpong. I think that by God's grace, Kojo Frimpong will be elected the parliamentary candidate for Wenchi, and nothing will change that by God's grace. So he's here and he's telling Bassett something. I don't know. Bassett is the lawyer for Richard Jakpa, and counsel for the National Democratic Congress, his lordship Sammy Gyamfi, who is also the propaganda secretary of the party, also in court. So this is after court stepping out, one Godfrey Dami person, one Richard Jakpa person, and then the counsel for the NDC, Samuel Gyamfi. That's the first photograph we deal with. Okay, let's move to the next. Oh, can you change it for me. Next photograph. It will come very quickly. Viewers, sorry, there's a lot of gossip to enjoy here, so don't go away. Let's look at the next photograph. Oh, the next photograph is just Samuel Gyamfi and Bassett. Please move to the next one. I want more interesting ones. Samuel Gyamfi and Bassett still having a conversation. Please, hold it. Let me do the okay. Okay, so we are getting somewhere. So we will like Kokonsan, but we didn't know that other people came to court for Kokonsan, because in this photograph you can tell that some people just came for Kokonsan, they didn't come and do anything. But anyway, no problem. This is Maretta Brew, appear upon former learned Attorney General of the Republic. This is Abdul Bassett. Seems to be telling him something. I don't know the guy behind here. I think it's Kojoga Adawudu, and I can't see the one's here's face well. But this is after court when they left. So I don't know what Bassett was telling the former Attorney General. He seems to be smiling more than she is. So perhaps he's focusing on something in front of her, and she's trying to draw her attention, something funny that she hasn't seen yet. But this is the photograph of court. It looks very interesting. You know, Ghana's democracy is very, very nice. Double tap. Okay. Okay. All right. So great, Michael. Thank you very much. This one is the one that we got the filler from. Oh my goodness. Look at the guy's black spectacles. Does it remind you of somebody who wears black spectacles in the morning? Don't mention his name. Just watch this one. So this is Richard Jakpa, who is here. The Jakpa guy. This is the cousin to the learned Justice Kulendi, through whom Godfrey Dame met Jakpa in Justice Kulendi's house, as Jakpa himself says on the tape. This is Jakpa. He was an army officer of the rank of lieutenant, and then he was going to become captain, and then plenty things happened. Eventually, the armed forces released him, but that's a story for another day. So, this is Richard Jakpa. That's him. That's the guy. This is Samuel GYAFI, his lordship, the Council for the National Democratic Congress, who is also the propaganda secretary of the party. And please, whilst we say that, check the meaning of propaganda in the dictionary. And this is Tadio Sori, seasoned lawyer, a very hard-working man, quite seasoned. This is Tadio Sori, who is lawyer for K-Salato Forsen, and Basit Bamba is not in this photograph, but this is the photograph of the day. Viewers, over 10, how much will you give this photograph? I give it 10 over 10. 10 over 10 for what? You tell me what. 10 over 10 for what? Is it 10 over 10 for motive? 10 over 10 for plotting? 10 over 10 for entrapment? 10 over 10 for, I don't know, 10 over 10 for what? But I give them 10 over 10. What do you give them 10 over 10 for? As for Jakpa, I give him 12 over 10. Look at his face. Richard Jakpa. This is the guy, Jakpa. Yeah, that's him. That's Richard Jakpa. He's a cousin of the Learned Supreme Court judge. That's Richard Jakpa. Look, the guy is wearing black. But there's nobody wearing spectacles, shades here. I don't know why he alone wanted to wear shades. And then he has a hat to boot, you know. Yeah, Richard Jakpa, the recorder of the leader of the bar. He's a recorder. He can take phone call and record you, and he talks about something that's unrelated. You say that I don't want you to help me make my. He said, no. You can't tell me to help you make it. I see, when we met in Justice Kulendi's house, you say every day to please get me the tape, the one you use for the teaser. Get it if it's ready. Tell Mumin it's ready. Let me take it. Now. Just so that we can hear Richard Jakpa's voice. So that's Jakpa. He's the one who was telling the Attorney General that. Do you remember the thing? The same thing you were saying. Okay, play the Jakpa tape. Play it. Have a listen.
The problem I'm having, anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when I went to Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when I went to Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when I went to Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having.
He said, anytime you bring this issue, that's a problem I have. When we went to Yoni Kulendi's place. That's Richard Jakpa. Now, Jakpa conducted this recording according to him. And I mean, the thing that is the most bizarre argument I've heard, I can't wrap my head around it, is that when the NDC published the tape, the MPP apparently held a press conference and said that the tape was doctored. Now, the argument that I hear Richard Jakpa himself told journalists today is that if the tape is doctored, bring the original one. I don't understand it. So let me take it slow, one by one. They say your tape is doctored. Your response is that if you say this is a doctored tape, bring the original tape. I said Lukete also said that. Samuel GYAFI also said that. I don't understand what they are talking about. When we say a tape is doctored, it's not because we have an original one. So let me ask them. Let me ask Samuel GYAFI. If a forensic expert comes to the court or anywhere for that matter, listens to the tape and concludes that the tape is doctored, does it mean that he has the original tape? I mean, what are they talking about? This evening, Martin Pebu, he often doesn't, but today he said something sensible. He said that when they say tape is doctored, it means that you have removed something, you have added something, or it doesn't add up. So he gave an example. Martin Pebu gave an example today on GYAFI. He said, for instance, this tape they are talking about, they say it's 26 minutes, but what they played was 16 minutes. So that can be an example or an inquiry into doctrine. With that, you can begin an inquiry into doctrine. So I don't understand when Asidun Ketia of all people, very intelligent man, Samuel GYAFI, propaganda secretary, and Richard Jakpa, their newfound friend, all say that if the tape is doctored, bring your own. I mean, wow. When we say a tape is doctored, it doesn't mean we have the original. It means we can listen to the sound of the tape and notice that a word is repeating itself. Notice that there are gaps in the recording. And notice that it appeared that some editing was being done. That is the meaning of a tape is doctored. A tape is doctored doesn't mean we have the original. In any case, you conducted your illegal recording on your own together with your friends. The person you were recording, because he's honest and he trusts you, he was not counter recording. And then you produce the tape. Everything about the tape shows that you have deleted something, added something. And how did we know? When it came to text messages, they deleted it. And we show the original text message here. For those of you who have not seen it, perhaps they will show it again. They deleted it. So we know that there are characters in the world that are not honest, that are brutally dishonest. And they can do these things. So when people were listening to the tape, they were listening to the way the tape will work. And now, many experts have come out to say that everything about that tape is doctored. Now, when they say a tape is doctored, then you say, go and bring your own. It is the most embarrassing answer to give when an allegation is made that the tape is doctored. It's the most embarrassing answer to give. But here you are, Richard Jakpa gave that answer to journalists today. Samuel GYAFI, the propaganda secretary of the NDC and counsel for the party, also gave that answer today. And Asedun Ketia Johnson, Asedun Ketia, my former neighbor, also gave that answer in his press conference. And I was disappointed because for me as a reporter, I like to see the arguments at very high level. And I have covered parliament. I covered the second parliament. I heard those brilliant arguments from NDC and from MPP. J.H. Spencer, J.H. also a champion, Doa Jao. They were all there. Alban Bagbin, making brilliant submissions both ways. That's how our democracy grows. But when you hear one side debasing the argument completely, something that JSS 2 boys can understand, that when they say a tape is doctored, it doesn't mean that you have your own. It's very childish to think like that. A tape is doctored doesn't mean that, oh, please, can you tell them? Because, ask them, if a forensic expert comes to the court or comes anywhere, takes the tape, passes it through forensic analysis and says that this tape is doctored, does it mean that he has a copy and he's comparing his copy to your copy? Oh, Charlie, this one, it was too bad. I don't understand this. I just don't get it. Anyway, no problem. Let's see whether we have some more photographs on this matter right now here. Yes, okay. Oh, it looks like we have a better one here. Hey, this looks better. Okay, so here you are. Sir Jakpa. I'm not sure what they were all looking at, but what they were looking at seemed like it wasn't pleasant. So I don't know. They were looking into were they looking into the future? Were they checking out the crystal ball of December 7th? Because it appears that everybody's face here is unpleasant. Even Tadiosori, his lordship. Look at what were they looking at? Viewers, can you, the reporters who were there and you are watching me, what were they checking? What were they looking at? Look at everybody's face here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As for Jakpa, no worry. But everybody's face here looks like they are looking at something they don't like. And they were coming out of court. Court was over. So what didn't they like? Is it that the arguments that the Attorney General made against the Tadiosori's objection? Is it that tomorrow is the Attorney General's birthday? What didn't they like? Quite clearly, they didn't like something. Those of you who know what they didn't like, please give us a call and tell us what you think they didn't like. Let me round it up here. Tonight we have interesting conversations coming up. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the last photograph. Is that okay? If there's another photograph, can you put it on very quickly? Let's see. Viewers, I hope that you are understanding and enjoying the processes. Okay, I'm guessing it's the same photograph, the same one. Do you have another one? Okay, let the pixels come down. Let me see about this one. Okay, this one too. Is it that my friends didn't have a good morning in court today? All their photographs look something. As for Jakpa, his face doesn't change. His face is always, armored vehicle type of. I don't know whether they did. This looks better small because Tadiosori at least has a broad smile. Thank you very much, Marietta Bruopon, the former Attorney General. It looks like you changed the mood of your people. You did so well. Women are magical. So Tadiosori finally sees Marietta and he's so happy. Thank you, Marietta. Women are magical. Women show up and Sabi GYAFI cry is smiling small. Even Jakpa is toned down the thing small. Marietta, what did you tell them? Maybe Marietta realized that my people are not happy. Let me go and cheer them up a little. Women are great at that. So I think that's what Marietta did. She came to cheer them up. Tadiosori is smiling eventually. Samuel GYAFI, counsel for the NDC and propaganda secretary. Jakpa cry is better small, but he still has his black spectacles early in the morning at the court complexes in Accra. Okay, this one too, the happiness is not there at all, but Marietta is there. So I'm sure that this photograph came before the last one. Marietta observed that his people were not happy, and then she came to try and use her female magic to sort of make them cheer up a little bit. Okay, is there another photograph that we can look at? Okay, here is Sammy Gyamfi now talking. Okay, he spoke to the press, and all he said was that the Attorney General didn't depose to the thing because he was afraid of Richard Jakpa. I guess the procedure is unknown to him, that if you want to argue over a matter, you cannot depose to it and become a witness. I guess it's unknown to him. So he was unaware. So forgive him. All of us were unaware. I mean, we were unaware until we asked the people at Attorney General, but why didn't your man depose to and explain to us? So we're also unaware. Now we have learned. I'm hoping that now he has also learned. So tomorrow, if he's giving a press conference, he won't say the things he said today, because now he has learned that there's a procedure like that, and that when you want to speak, you don't have to depose to it. I think that now he knows, because now we have all found out. So Samuel Gyamfi, we are with you on the same level. We too, we didn't understand why the Attorney General did that. That is because we didn't know the procedure. We don't practice law. We didn't know. I think you also don't practice law, so you also don't know. Now we all know, so it's okay. It's okay, no problem. So that's fine. Now we all know. Okay. All right. After that, the Attorney General also spoke when he got out of court. The journalist, as usual, confronted him, and he was very biblical with what he said. Have a listen. This is what he said. Sorry, we're just looking for the video. So we have it. We have it now. So after the event, the Attorney General also spoke. This is what he said. Oh. Because it rained. I was going to go to a Godfrey Dame one. They are finding it. They'll have it in a moment. But because I repeated this argument about doctor tape, and they say bring your tape, listen to Richard Jakpa talking about that.
Not surprised. I mean, they're always resorting to all these tricks, and of course, replied, as we know. All I can say is that the Lord does not delight in the pleasure of the wicked, and that even though they've laid traps for me, I will flee from them, and righteousness will always prevail over evil. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Not surprised. I mean, they're always resorting to all these tricks, and of course, replied, as we know. All I can say is that the Lord does not delight in the pleasure of the wicked, and that even though they've laid traps for me, I will flee from them, and righteousness will always prevail over evil.
Sorry about that, viewers. Let's do the better sequence. So let's play Richard Jakpa's tape first. Oh, it looks, they don't.
What do you make of the position that the tape you put out is a doctored tape?
Well, they are claiming it's a doctored tape. I didn't say that. So they should bring the original. They should tell the original to court.
But why did you record the Attorney General?
Well, that is not for you.
What do you make of the position that the tape you put out is a doctored tape?
Well, they are claiming it's a doctored tape. I didn't say that. So they should bring the original. They should tell the original to court.
But why did you record the Attorney General?
Well, that is not for you.
What do you make of the position that the tape you put out is a doctored tape?
Well, they are claiming it's a doctored tape. I didn't say that. So they should bring the original. They should tell the original to court.
But why did you record the Attorney General?
Well, that is not for you.
What do you make of
He said that they should bring the other one. Okay, so after court, the Attorney General was encumbered by journalists, and he was very biblical when he spoke to them. This is what he said.
No surprise. I mean, they're always resorting to all these tricks, and of course, replied, as you know. All I can say is that the Lord does not delight in the pleasure of the wicked, and that even though they've laid traps for me, I will flee from them, and righteousness will always prevail over evil. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
No surprise. I mean, they're always resorting to all these tricks, and of course, replied, as you know. All I can say is that the Lord does not delight in the pleasure of the wicked, and that even though they've laid traps for me, I will flee from them, and righteousness will always prevail over evil. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
No surprise. I mean, they're always resorting to all these tricks, and of course, replied, as you know. All I can say is that the Lord does not delight in the pleasure of the wicked, and that even though they've laid traps for me, I will flee from them, and righteousness will always prevail over evil. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
No